our agricultural drone training standard workflow. My name is Andrew from Africa Drone Kings, of course, and I will be running you through how to conduct a workflow of training with DJI Agras T40, or maybe we can just generally say DJI Agras spraying drones. Now, our presentation is composed of only 21 slides, and we should be done very quick with those slides. This is just to show you how the workflow actually works for an instructor. All right, let's jump into it. Our next page, as you can see, that is our content page, and our content page shows us that there are 6 topics that are there to be touched on. The purpose of the training, which is being the one, the preparation for the training, which has several sectors in there, the training requirements like equipment, drones, and whatever that you may need to conduct the training, safety precautions, training workflow, and least but not all, training experience. All right, so now our first page, the purpose of the training. So what this means basically is, what is the training supposed to do for the trainee, right? Which is things like how to safely operate the aircraft, how to use the aircraft in the right way, that what they expect to yield from using an Agras drone will be the yield as a end product towards them, and how to safely operate the aircraft in a sense that they don't harm anybody near them, and where to operate the aircraft as well. So as you can see, that the brief explanation is just saying that make users safely and efficiently use DJI agricultural drones, which is basically what we're saying, to promote the healthy development of the industry, which is the agricultural industry itself. Okay, that is very straightforward and easy. We're going to jump on to the next one. Great. Operations training location. It is very important to conduct the training in an open area. The reason being, we're talking about a UAV of a very large size with very long propellers, and it could be dangerous, pose a threat to other people, like a crowd, for instance, or if there are too many obstacles around the area, it could cause other bigger damages. So you always want to make sure that there are no pedestrians, there are no people walking around, there are no kids walking around, there are no power lines, there are no buildings and all of that. Always conduct the training in an open area, right? And you need to also ensure that you keep a safe distance between groups. Let's say you were training 2 groups, for instance, you had 2 drones, you had 2 groups in the ratios of 1:6, right? You need to make sure that there is fair distance between the 2 groups so that the 2 drones do not cause a collision. That is why you would want to do that. And in red there, the big writing that says never hold the training on the road with traffic or people. That means never ever conduct the training on the road, basically. All right, so going into the next one, your equipment. Your equipment is very important. Before going to conduct a training, you need to make sure that you have everything that you're going to need for the training, okay? That being a drone, for instance, which one drone equates to 6 people. Then you need to have at least 2 generators if you have 2 groups. If you have 1 group, you're good with 1 generator for 1 drone to charge batteries every now and then. 6 traffic cones per group, okay? And then you have obviously a landing pad that you're gonna require. The aircraft is big, so you're gonna need something like a 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter, or 2.5 by 2.5. Enough protective items, gloves, goggles, look, even protective heads if you want, just for the matter of safety, right? And also the reason you would have that is because during your training you're also going to be conducting things like pesticide mixing, so you need to have protection for people, like the practice of mixing pesticides and how it's conducted. All right, on our next one, what we have here is amongst the equipment, you have training simulators. All right, an HDMI cable with a big monitor connecting to the remote controller. Why? If you have a big group of people, you don't want them to hurdle over a small screen from the remote controller, right? Which is a 7.5 inch or 7.7 inch, somewhere around there. You want to make sure that everybody has even view and can see what you are training them on, okay? And then, most importantly, stick mode, stick mode, stick mode. Okay? Now, two main stick modes, that being 1 and 2. But always ensure that you train your people or you show them stick mode 2. That is the preferred one. Alright? Stick mode 2. Some people might say, oh, I struggle with this one because I'm left-handed or right-handed, then they can use this. But however, stick mode 2 is the standard that you would use to ensure that they know about the stick modes, because the difference is, as you can see, the throttle and the pitch on this side and on that side are not in the same place. So the reason you would train your people on this is to ensure that if ever they take off, they need to make sure it's on stick mode, so they know when they push this way it's going forward or sideways or backwards. It's very important to teach your people on that as an instructor. The next one is the ratio, as I explained before or mentioned briefly, 1 drone for 6 people, right? That's if you have a group of 6 people. Look, if you have a group of 4 people, it's still okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we are saying is 1 drone is sufficient for a number of 6 people, all right? Coolies. And then as part of continuation of safety, right, of the training, training difficulty should increase gradually, all right? So what needs to happen here is it basically means we need to increase the the intensity of the training every time, so that our people are strong enough to know how to react to certain methods. Because if you just teach them on basic simple things and then a difficult thing happens, they don't really know what to do at that point in time. So it's always good to gradually increase the difficulty of the training. Give struggling trainees more time. When you're transferring information, there will always be people who are struggling to catch on to it very quick. Identify those people, identify their struggles, and tackle those pain points. That's what that means. Inform trainees on the measurements. 2 common problems. The common problems that you have seen as an instructor, you need to mention them and you need to show how to solve them to your trainees, okay? And then here, that will be the notice for instructor. Now, let me touch on this diagram here. It will explain everything that is written here. This is the group of people where they are, all right? 6 meters to the A point, that's where the drone is. 10 meters between point A and M is your first point. Your second point is 50 meters above, because they're in the front. So your drone will be flying that way, and then that way, and then that way, and then that way, and that way, and that way. So you keep a 6 meter distance from the drone. That is standard. 6 meter distance, that is standard. You can't change that. Okay, that is the safe distance. Between the two A and D, you need to keep a 5 meter distance as well. So this is put in words this side, basically, right? So this diagram should give you a picture of how the whole thing should look like. And then from there, of course, emergency management. As you can see, this man here, unfortunately for him, he had an unfortunate scenario. So, when the drone loses control, for instance, what do you do? When kids suddenly get close, what do you do? When the drone is about to crash due to operation error, what do you do? Those are the things that you need to mention when you are conducting a training. And you, as the instructor, you need to be aware of your surroundings as well. That's why you plan your training a day before or a couple of days before. You know your location, know what's there, so that your training site is perfect. It will not become a problem where you pose danger towards the public, right? So obviously we look out for things like kids, right? Who can, if it's an open space, they just suddenly pop by and start running around. We need to warn them and move them away from the area as soon as possible. The drone, when it is about to crash due to an operation error, what do? You try to reconnect. You need to teach your people what to do when that happens. Like keep a safe distance, don't grab on it, don't, all of those things. Those are the things that you need to explain.